In this recording, I'm going to start off looking at the design lab. Students need to do this quite independently, these design labs. They shouldn't be a standard physics lab, and they must be done independently. You have to work this out for yourself according to the specific research question that you have chosen. Now, when doing this, it is important to go through a series of steps, and that's why I have given you this document over here, the design explanation doc, and I also have some exemplars, and I've got this one over here. This was done on a ball, or the rebound of a ball, and what I've done is I've taken this document, I've taken this IA, and in blue I have added some comments in, so this is hopefully going to be useful to you. Now, the first part that we're going to be looking at in this presentation, I'll just look at aspect 1, defining the problem and selecting variables. Now, it's really important that when you're doing this, that you give a comprehensive overall description of the purpose of the investigation. This helps you to write your research question in clear terms so that other people can understand what you're talking about. So if we go to our example here, we have the student has actually given an introduction, and it's reasonably clear, and then they've done the research question. So here's the introduction over here. It seems to give an overall objective of the investigation. It's also done in third person, which is important, not to use I or we and so forth. Now the research question is, how is the height of a ball's rebound, so that's the dependent variable, dependent on the initial height, there's our independent variable, that the ball was dropped from. This is fine, but it could be more specific, and I have rewritten this for you using some more specific language. What is the relationship between the height to which a ball will rebound? That's clearly showing what your dependent variable is to the initial height from which it is dropped. Again, perhaps being a bit clearer in terms of what the variables actually are. Now, once we have got that, once we've got our research question written, and we've written that, and we've got that written clearly, then writing down our independent and our dependent variables are quite easy to do. So we have the height from which the ball is dropped, that's fine, and the height of the ball's rebound, that's also fine. Now, perhaps the most difficult part of this is identifying your controlled variables. And what I must just make clear first is that these controlled variables need to be variables. You couldn't just say the ball. That is not a variable. It's what about the ball that should be stated. Things about the ball that should be kept constant. Perhaps using the same ball will do that, but you need to actually give the variables. So here the student has put the mass and shape of the ball, the pressure of the ball, and the initial velocity of the ball. All of those are variables and relevant. But in doing this, you must make sure that you identify all of them. And I've added something in here. What about the hardness of the floor? Because if you drop a ball onto different surfaces, they will rebound to different heights. So giving an indication of that variable, keeping that constant, would have been useful. Now, you aren't asked to give a hypothesis. This is good scientific method to always give a hypothesis, but in the IA for IB, you don't need that. So I would actually leave that out. I wouldn't put that in, although you should have in your mind what you expect to happen. Thank you.